So, if you want, and this is optional, but if you want, you can go to foxholelive.com. You can see a real time. You can see like a real time view of the battlefield. It's pretty cool. But there's also statistics there, all right. And in the statistics, I was actually surprised to find that wardens and collies have about an equal win loss rate. I mean, but it's the long wars that we lose. The wardens lose the long wars. When the wardens win, it's within like 2 weeks, three. They go for that quick snag. Um, and so I don't know. Okay, I know why it happens, and I'll tell you. Okay, we make these breakthroughs. We make these huge, incredible gains. All right, we'll go across entire islands. Okay, feels like a continent. It's just an island. We'll go through entire islands. We'll keep smashing the collies. The thing about us, wardens are really good at losing. We're really good at it. We're really good at it because if you take out our base, guess what? We got a base behind that one. If you take out a layer of our base, guess what? We got layers behind that. Okay, it's almost a war of attrition, and I think that it's mostly the French doing this, just because I feel strongly as if they're trying to get the World War II that they were almost cheated of in a way. They haven't learned the most crucial issue is fortifications can be bypassed, but instead they're just going down to fortify everything they can whenever they can and keep it fortified, which is nice. I think it gives us a very French flair. Um, I don't like the French. I don't like Europeans, but these players are good. I like them. That's why I'll say French flair. So what happens is we get these huge breakthroughs. All right. I think the reason it's so devastating is we go from this like kind of like stagnant sort of like stalwart force to this like really hyper like aggressive moving like tentacle beast. Okay. And so there's a breakthrough, right? And the collies end up getting pushed, but we don't. I know that I know this sounds contradictory, right? It's what I said before. How we're like, we got a base and a base and a bit, layers and layers. But when we make these breakthroughs, what ends up happening is our population pushes as far as they can, but they don't cover the flanks. I've seen this happen twice. Huge gains, major gains. But the way the roads work, all right, first of all, it's almost suicide to make a base that's off-road just because Logi drivers in general are not smart enough to figure out how to make that delivery if it's not on the road. But if you can do it, it's cool. If you actually have a dedicated Logi guy, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. But that road ends up kind of like determining how like it's funny. The road receives far more traffic than like just a patch of white. I call it Snow White. I just call it the white. Um, so vehicles themselves, it doesn't matter how hard you press the W key. It matters if you're on road or off road or difficult terrain. I think there's three separate factors there, and that'll change the speed of the vehicle. And that's why things work out the way they do is because they follow the roads, and it becomes a conundrum because we get flanked. So what's the solution here? Well, the solution here is to play to our strengths, to make more bases. Okay, I've made a base that was behind the main base. Okay, there's something about border bases. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's some grievance that is shared by most of the wardens. I haven't looked into it. And I might even share that grievance even without fully understanding what it entails, because the border fights, they're like shit shows. But I mean, I guess the same could be said about bridge fights too. It's really kind of, when you add that loading screen into a battlefield scenario, it gets weird. And basically, you are a beachhead into the enemy hex, and so go ahead, attack them or whatever. But if that beachhead is not held, because they have the whole hex, right? They could squish you, and that's kind of the point. But yeah, what you want to do as your guys are moving up, because they won't do this. I promise that at most, and this typically happens, there'll be a CV there to restore an enemy base, and that's the cool thing about bases, is they will retain approximately or exactly half of their stock. Okay, so if I blow up a collie base and then I rebuild it, I get half the collie stock. All right, they're dusk rifles. If they have two, I get one dusk rifle. Powerful weapon, best weapon in the game. High rate of fire, decent level of accuracy, high damage, big magazine. It's basically a gun that you want to use to point and shoot and kill enemies. It's what the weapon is designed specifically to make bullet holes in the people you don't like, and that's something that I think is pretty cool. So yeah, you've absolutely have to consolidate your games. You absolutely have to make some bases. Okay, this next part, and this is huge, right? The first one is kind of like a winning strategy. I was never a Marine. Okay, I think I think I think if a Marine was laughing, like listening to me, he'd probably be chuckling and grinning. There's absolutely some sort of cope between Marines and soldiers, and I mean, I was hanging out with these Marines for like a couple weeks, and they were just reservists. Okay, and I was like a 150-pound twink at that time, but they were dumber than us, but they were stronger than us. Okay, they were idiots. They set like 8, 7 antennas right next to each other and couldn't figure out why they weren't getting a signal out. Is because their antenna farm was drowning out their own signals. It was funny. But the thing that I like about Arlie Ermy, and I don't know if he said this, but someone like him said it. Okay, is that a Marine's most devastating weapon, his most powerful weapon, is his brain. I know I just used to do this. It makes you feel smart when you do this. Honestly, you just want to feel smart, do that. It's true though. It's very true. Okay, very true. Last video I said, even if I was weapon locked and I had a microphone, I can still do a lot of good for the battlefield. And that honestly, I would almost even challenge you to go to the battlefield without anything and just see what you can do. That'd be a good challenge. It will be a rewarding challenge, and if you fail it, guess what? You can do it again for free, almost. Just costs one shirt. A Marine's most devastating weapon is his mind. Okay, and that can't be emphasized enough. All right, this next part isn't for everyone. So if you do not consider yourself to be like at least somewhat intelligent, don't even bother, because this is just, it's going to screw you up, and it's going to screw up the wardens. In fact, I'm probably sabotaging my own team right now, because there's going to be people, right? And they're going to listen to this advice, and they're going to think, "Oh yeah, that's great advice. I'm going to follow it." And they're going to mess everything up. Train them, train them, train them, train them, train. Look, as a soldier, okay, I used to be in the United States Army. Okay, TRADOC. I hated it. I hated it, but it was a big deal. Mainly, the reason TRADOC sucks is You are being taught by people that are literally not teachers, and would the only reason that they're your teachers is it's a government job. Buh. Okay, but it's still important, and the lessons I learned there really did help me out in the long run. Okay, it wasn't exactly like how does this work. It was more like, okay, if these 5 systems have a power supply in the same place, you will probably know that there's a power supply in the 6th system and where it is and what it does and how it operates and how to access it and what the faults are. That was basically what was, my deal. Tradox sucked, okay, but it prepared me. It went by the numbers. It prepared me. It did great, and that's something that's missing from this game is Tradoc. They have at the home island. I'm fairly certain the Collie home island and the Warden home island are both identical. I don't know. I think I accidentally joined Collies. If you switch between wars, just go ahead and just leave this channel, please. If you switch between wars, I don't want you. I don't need you. I don't want you. I don't need you. Why don't people learn? So, at the home island, there's like an obstacle course, there's like a vehicle building place, there's like basically, I'm fairly certain that you can interact with every mechanic of the game from the home island, but it's not, first of all, it's not fun. And second of all, it just doesn't make sense. Okay. I got through the tutorial on the home island. You just read signs. People that spam signs, I hate them. I hate them so much. Very annoying. So there's signs, and you could do it, but like I got stuck trying to figure out how to make a tripod work. Okay, I didn't understand. You have to right click, left click the face. I thought tripods just all face the same way, and I was like, no, that can't be right. How would that ever be? You would always have to pick up a tripod facing like it's preposterous. The tutorial sucks. Okay, if you're look, even if you followed everything in the tutorial, you would have the technical knowledge, but you wouldn't have the wisdom to truly like use it against the enemy. So there's something that happens in between wars. It's called like resistance or something. I don't it's dumb. Okay. It's dumb, but it's great because first of all, it makes a break between the wars. All right. There's be like 48 hours, 72 hours where there's no war. And honestly, like people like me that just play this game for days at a time. That's great. That's great. It's great that the game isn't always there because it makes me look forward to something, makes me think about things, it makes me reflect. But also, honestly, the period in between wars is a golden opportunity. Okay. I remember the first time I played this game, it was in the period between wars. It was Shard 2, Age of Resist or the Resistance deal, right? And like I was like, oh man, because there was a pillbox and there was AI in there. I didn't know there was AI. I didn't know how the flags work. So this guy's like, there's AI in there. We have to blow them up. And like there's AI. So I had flashbacks to there's like the sequel to Verdun. I think it was on the Eastern Front. Verdun was a great game. Verdun is a great first person shooter. If those servers are still populated, play that game even once. You'll learn a lot about life and about death. Okay, fucking Verdun. Lost my fucking train of thought. That's a bitch. Oh yeah, yeah. So, anyways, like Tannenberg. It was called Tannenberg. The second game was called Tannenberg. All right, and I felt so powerful because like I had a machine gun. I was killing all these riflemen over and over again. Like they would run out in waves in the battlefield, but it wasn't real people. I wasn't killing real. I played this game for like a week, and I thought I was just a god at it, and I wasn't even killing real people. I was killing bots. So the whole like bot to AI, like the whole like AI, like PVE and PvP. I've seen it in a couple games. Uh, there's like this game called Hunt Showdown. I don't like it. In a lot of cases, it just makes this sort of like it makes it so the game becomes two separate games in a way that are just like basically the game comes down to being able to balance switching between PvE or PvP. And I guess my grievances in that regard would be viable in Foxhole. Um, but what's the difference? What's the difference? I guess the difference is that the PvE portion of Foxhole is quintessentially different than the PvP. Okay. You will be shooting at static buildings in PvE. They don't move ever. So you know that they're there and they don't know that you're there. So you're smarter than these static things that don't move. And I guess that's why I like it more is the very essence of this AI makes it so that the difference between fighting that and fighting, a player is just so fundamental that it feels like you're doing a completely different thing instead of doing something the same way, just a different flavor, if that makes sense. But I won't get. But anyways, look, I was frustrated because my first playthrough ever, I thought I was getting gypped, right? I ran over here. There's a pillbox. There's a guy, and there's guy on my side. It said, "Oh, we can't get past it without grenades. We gotta blow them up with grenades." And it's just like I thought I could gas him. I think I got around it. So yeah, don't don't fight pillboxes unless you can blow them. Okay, but these lessons were great because I learned all of this without really any devastating consequences for my lack of knowledge. Okay, and that's what the mid-war or the between wars is about, in my opinion, is being able to expose your new recruits to collies, but not have them as mean as the real collies, if that makes sense. It gives just a little more room to fudge up, and the expectations are lower. So I've seen guys training guys, and first of all, I'm gonna say this straight up: you've got to have the right ratio. Okay, ideally, it would be one teacher to one student. And I mean, there's no better ratio unless you're going to have two teachers to one student, right? We can't always focus on the ideal, but I try to go for it. And so, what you want to do is you want to show them, not tell them, because I've seriously been listening to guys talking to players for like, I mean, it lasted for hours, but actual dialogue was probably closer to like 30, 40 minutes. They just keep talking. And it's like, that's the thing is you can't just tell people. You can't just tell people. Like I guess it's a little different here because I'm in a medium in which there is less interaction, but you can't just tell them what to do. You have to show them and then you have to make them do it. All right. Look, in the army, there's two factors that really got us that trade-off bullshit to work. There's two. Okay, I guess three factors. Yeah, three factors is better. Okay. There's monkey see, monkey do. So like like everyone around you doing it, you can just ape that. There's muscle memory, like not even relying on this. You're relying on this to just do the same thing over and over again because your muscles will learn. They're good at it. and then repetition, saying the same thing at least 3 times. Yeah, and that's how they taught it. So do that. Okay, look, get them to ape you. Get them to continuously do that. That way, they just fall into a routine, and then keep up with it. And Uh, after like about 2 or 3 hours, you can train anyone. Right? I don't know everything about this, but there's something you know that I don't know. And if you can show someone that, even if it's something small, okay, look, that's the key here is keeping your aim small, digestible, okay? A little bite, something for someone to talk about in a conversation later, not this like daunting behemoth of expectations and abstract concepts that somehow come together in a way that you're not quite sure. It's almost like a puzzle, but you're missing all the borders. So you have the picture there, but the way it solidifies into reality is just missing. Okay. So I know their heart's in the right place, but honestly, these people that just go, okay, look, I guess I'm being a hypocrite, but these people that just like, I got the difference is I'm talking hopefully to a dozen people, between everyone listening to me, whereas like there's like a back and forth. So it's a different medium. I'm using a different medium here, so that's why I'm going to excuse myself because I promise you I behave differently in the game than I do in front of a camera trying to explain myself and elaborate. Okay. But you want to you want to have the least amount you want to deliver the least amount of direction, and hopefully like Pac-Man they can just get they can just follow the little orbs and get to the really good shit, the power-ups. Okay. uh do not try to unload everything you know on a player, because what how I learned about this game was just through trial and error. Okay, that's where the real lessons come from, and that's just who I am as a person. Is I have to make a severe mistake for me to learn that is something that I'll never do again, and I'll just do the opposite of that because that severe mistake, and that's great. But we can expedite this process. All right, I've been playing this game for like about a year on and off now, and it's taken me all this time. So if I would have just known little things like, for example, um, technically I prestige. I don't know. I was on shard 2 at the highest rank, and then I got the shard 1, and now I'm a lieutenant. I'm okay with that. But there's this guy who's a warrant officer, and he showed me something that I didn't know. If you go into, because I play this game for days at a time, my computer is basically just a Foxhole running like device. That's basically what it does. It just runs Foxhole, and if I do my schoolwork, that's cool too. It's always doing that. But when you're on this game for more than 8 hours, the Vivox comm system messes up. And so I had actually been leaving the game and then coming back in to get Vivox back. But just the other day, I think it was yesterday, this warrant officer told me, there's an option. It's under voice. You can just reconnect. There's a button there. They streamline. And look, I have failed entire operations. I've let people down because I had to quit the game and join back in to get my comms back. And so this guy taught me something, and that's really crucial when you teach people things. Is a back and forth. You are sharing information back and forth. It's not just one prime direction, just like, I'm gonna beam this information in. You're having a conversation, you're having a human, lively conversation. And this is big. Okay, look, this is big because you can't just always Google. I mean, you can always just Google it, but you're never getting that heart to heart, that personal connection, that oh, because I'll always remember that guy that taught me that. I'll always remember that warrant officer that taught me I could fix that. I'll always remember his very calm demeanor. I'll always remember how he vouched for a lance corporal. I was like, "Do you want to get my tank?" Because he was a warrant officer. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey, I want to bring my friend." I'm like, "Oh, that's a lance corporal." He's like, "Hey, look, if I'm dumb, he's just as dumb as I am." I'm like, "Okay, that guy's vouching for him. He's cool. I like that. I like that sort of like dialogue. I like getting into people's minds. I like just seeing what's going on because everyone, the perspectives here. Like I wish I could see things the way other people see them because I would become so smart so quickly. It would be I would be unstoppable. In fact, that's really the only thing stopping me from conquering the world at this point is the fact that I don't know what other people see. That's the only thing stopping me. And you can do that here. Look, everyone has a story to tell. Everyone has something to share. Even that idiot from that other video, the last video I just finished. All right, the guy that didn't know how to aim a fucking machine gun turret. The guy didn't know how microphones and cameras worked. Even he could teach someone something. And the thing he could teach them is, hey, sometimes you just have to hold your ground, even though it's not very fun. Like sometimes we need just one guy watching a flank for no reason in particular, but there might be a reason. Like even that guy has something to share, and that I might do like the when I rolled up on him, I do that too sometimes. I just sit there and I just wait, just like, come here, come on. I've um I've been sitting in a Spitfire for like, I dare say 15 minutes. Okay, looking at the road, and there was a collie in a trench segment on the road. I couldn't see him, but he was there the whole time. And so he knew something I didn't know, and I lost a gunner. I almost lost my life. I almost lost my Spitfire because there was something that I didn't know. So, yeah, look, just whether you're going to just teach people how to shoot rifles, whether you're going to teach people how logistics works, the time in between wars is where we're going to win every war. Look, you got to use a secret weapon. Look, this is the Marines' best weapon. This is, sorry for the TikTok. It's not just about outsmarting the enemy. You've got to outsmart the fellow players. But look, the thing about that is once you realize you're smarter than them, you share information. Look, my thing is, right, if you're smarter than me, show me. If we're on the same level or approximately, let's work through it together. But I have no room for anything else. I have no room for anything. Look, I do not want any of you to be the guy that's just like, yeah, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, yeah, know everything. No, look, I don't know everything about this game. There's things that I'm still discovering, and that's the fun part. And we all have to come together to make this work. We have to make the new players work. Look, the new players are both like the curse and the blessing for this game. First of all, having like inloads of new players for any game is just the developer's dream, and it's also the community's dream as well. So we have that. Okay, we have that. It's great. There are new players all the time. I'm seeing them all the time. I think even on the low, like the low hour like the low population hours, we've got 1,000 players. So that's 500 on each team. Okay, 500. Now you're gonna see about half a dozen at a time here and there, lone wolves, but we're always getting new players. The pop cap is always. I've never ever been like, oh, no people play this game. No, it's always been like, okay, it's either like, oh, like there's time zones, right? And I don't know. In Asia, I have heard that there's a country that is exclusively collie, and it would make sense. It would make sense why they win. They've been on a winning streak lately because I think all they do is mine. I don't know. I'm essentially creating a boogeyman here because I've never seen it. I've just heard it, and it makes sense. But like, they've just got to be mining the whole time until they get all the technology they can from that. That's got to be it. And I don't think they stop. I think they're like robots. But yeah, you got to teach them. Do not overwhelm them. It's perfectly okay if you deliver a solid little lesson plan that doesn't have a big scope, and even then they don't quite get it. That's kind of that's kind of great, actually. It's like they don't quite get it, but you show them something, okay? Because you can't expect you can't expect the best results from these players. They're not competitive players, and that's why I like the game. But you want to show them. I guess a couple like I saw one guy. These guys doing this. Like I just checked it out, and they saw that I was OCDT. It was before I got prestiged or whatever happened. But like they're like, "What are you doing here, sir?" And I was like, "I'm just here to watch you." And it was an interesting exercise. Um, bunker base. Sorry. Bunker, trench, bunker on both sides, right? So what they did is they just shot at each other from the trenches, and I mean, I would have never thought of this lesson ever, but it was great because that's really what you're doing. I had missed this factor of Foxhole had become so quintessential that I just assumed it was just like in everyone's knowledge, and it wasn't. It never was. It's shooting at people between trenches. And even then, I learned something, okay? The medic on the north end had like 9 or 6 magazines, so he was just firing nonstop, and they won. Okay, so I didn't even at that point I hadn't even made that leap. That simply just carrying a shit ton of ammo can be the difference between victory and defeat. Now I don't recommend it because you'll be giving the enemy a lot of ammo if they kill you. But he won. This is, and I saw them do this a couple times. Okay, other guys, they just broke the rule and they just got out of the trench and got behind the enemy trench and shot them in the back, and that's great too. They learned that, hey, look, I don't want to be running into this funnel of bullets. I would rather just kill the enemy, shoot them in the back, and that's so they're the lessons in which you can deliver are only limited by your own imagination, okay? And I'm what I want to do is I want to go to Gravekeeper's Holdfast and have Gravekeepers there, so I can have train people how to use Gravekeeper at Gravekeeper. Um, Usually when I try to recruit people, I've had most success at the home island, just like talking to people like, hey, what do you know about the game? So first I'll get them to talk about themselves. What do you know about this game so far? And then, and that gets them starting the dialogue so that they're invested. And then I also get to gauge how far they are in the game because the ranks are a pretty solid. Honestly, all the rank does is really show you how much time someone spent in Logi, and that's more or less a fantastic metric by which to judge someone's like ability to play this game. It's actually the depth. The ranking system is unorthodox, but it works. In fact, I would almost say it works better than the United States Army. To be quite honest with you. Be quite honest with you. I think it's almost better, maybe better than the United States Army ranking system. To be quite honest with you, because there's an emphasis on expertise, on knowing how things work. But you will find, okay, and this is why I'm coming at you so strong. You will find that most of the veteran players of this game simply are just like bitter. They're just bitter idiots. They don't. And I've been there. I am there. I used to say I got past that, but I just didn't quite get past it. Okay. It's because you have this expectation. It's because you know how to fulfill this expectation, and yet it doesn't get done. Okay, that's why there's so many bitter, and I've been bitter, and I am bitter, and I think overall in all, I would like to say I'm like only 49% bitter. Okay, that's I'd like to say I'm only 49% bitter about this game. Okay, and then here's why. Here's what happens. Okay, here's why they get bitter. Here's why I get bitter. Is in the middle of the shit. Sometimes you just need one person. Sometimes you just need one person to help you out, and they just fuck it up. The new players will just fuck it up. they'll just do that. They'll just screw it up. And look, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Okay? That's how you have to look at it. You can't I've stopped having any expectations for anyone just because it made me so upset. So I would encourage you to remove all expectations. And if you ever have an expectation, the only real like time to do it is if you're in a clan or perhaps you're in that mid-war period where you can train people. That's what I would recommend. But yeah, I think I'm going to go to Gravekeeper's Hold Fast, and once this war ends, and I'm going to bring some Gravekeepers there. And so, first of all, the way I'm going to design this is the first lesson will be how bad the fuel capacity is. Okay, I'm going to intentionally make a mistake and stop us from getting to a destination because we ran out of fuel. So they know. They'll remember that lesson. They'll remember the lesson where the instructor screwed up and they had to fix it by getting fuel. Okay, that's fine. If I look like an idiot, if I have to be stupid to make people smarter, I don't care. I don't need people. "Oh, yeah, he's a glutton. He's a smart guy. I like him." No, I don't need that. Okay. In fact, I like the opposite more, honestly, and I'll get to the opposite because I still have like 3 or 4 hours that I'm banned. That's why I'm making this video because I can't play Foxhole. I did a war crime and now I'm like banned for 3 or 4 more hours. I'm gonna get them back. Don't worry. I'm gonna get them back. They got me. I'm gonna get them worse. And I'm gonna wage my own personal war against them because they deserve it. Okay, screw it. Look. When I grew up, and I am 3 decades old. When I grew up, and I am 3 decades old, there was this saying that God said so often that everyone knew it and everyone was sick of hearing it. Sick of it. Sick of hearing it. Okay. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Okay. And so what this philosophical what this means is actions speak louder than words in the wrong way. Okay. Um I am asking you, please, if you can't do this, please. If you can't do any of this, please go just join the collies, okay? I don't want you on my side. I don't we have no need for the soys, okay? I don't know enough about the French to tell how soy goes there or not, but the American soys are just awful, okay? They'll get in the way, they won't do shit. And so basically when I have had enough, dude, of just like blatant incompetence, because that honestly, I can tell you that Foxhole is not about defeating the enemy. It's about defeating your own team's incompetence. Okay. And that begins with your incompetence. And that's the hardest part. That's the hardest thing to see. If you can't see your own competence, then but there's a word. Yes, that word. Yes, that word that you're thinking about. Yes, that word. Yes, there's a word. Yes, that word. Okay. Look, dude, I'm gonna tell you this right now. The reason I like the Aussies so fucking much is they don't care about the word. They do not care about that word or any word. They're here to fight a war. Okay. I don't know exactly what the Canadian, sorry, what the Australian track record is, but I know what the Canadian track record was in World War One, and that is being bloodthirsty monsters. And like the Canadians, sorry, the Australians, the New Zealanders, Anzac, they landed at Gallipoli in the First World War, and that was like basically the first D-Day, and it ended really really poorly. It wasn't because of the soldiers; it was because of the terrain. Okay, they just. But look, they. I'm telling you right now, is they don't care about that word. They do not care. It's to them, it's just a word, and I'm telling you right now. Okay, as far as war crimes go, this is the ultimate war crime in this game. If you want people to just like lament and just like say the word, say the fucking word. You know, at least the team killing, but honestly, like it's great. It's fantastic if you can get someone to start killing you over and over again at the base because it shows everyone their true colors. Look, I might have said a word 15 minutes ago, but you're still team killing me. Okay. So another winning strategy in this. So the first winning strategy was building bases in between things. All right. And that takes a lot of effort. Okay. It's gonna be difficult. The second winning strategy, and this I wouldn't even recommend you do because a lot of people are gonna screw it up. It takes a lot of energy, it takes persistence, it takes it takes so many things to train a new player. Okay. But the third thing, I'm telling you, it's not even like a skill you can practice on. I'm telling you straight up, if you cannot handle hearing a word, do not play this game because that is the quint. I'm not doing the TikTok clap. It's really look. I want to do the TikTok clap. I'm not going to do the TikTok clap, but it's just a lot of thin skin. It's just a lot of if you can't and these people look and these people, right? These people that get upset. I firmly I haven't seen them killing collies. Okay. I have not seen them killing collies. All right. There's two kinds of people in this world. People that do shit, people that talk shit. Okay. Go out, do things. Go out, do things. And you'll find the people that have never done anything will have every reason to criticize you. Okay. But look, I'm telling you right now that if hearing a word gets you that upset, then just don't play this game. Or please just play on the collies. I would rather have you on the collies. And I see this. If you want to see it without saying the word, if you want to see who these people are that I'm talking about, watch who team kills. Okay, watch them. I've been team killed for saying a word once, and as soon as about like 3 or 4 hours when I get back online, I'm gonna find these people and I'm gonna say the word to them again and again and again and again. Okay, because they thought they could shoot me, they thought they could kill me and my gunner and my Spitfire because I said a word. Okay, but look, these people, they're the same people. They're team killers. They love to team kill. And you'll see it. Look, don't kill the sleepers. Do not kill the sleepers. Please do not kill the sleepers. Please. Look, please, 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 please do not kill the sleepers. Please. Now look, okay. Here's the pros to killing sleepers. First of all, it's easy to do. Okay. Second of all, it makes a really satisfying sound when you punch them to death. All right. And that's it. There's a third. There's a third there is a third bonus, which is actually the most tantalizing out of all of them, and that is that you can take what the sleeper was carrying, but they're usually sleeping in a bunker base, and they're going to have the exact identical access to weapons and equipment that you will. So there's gonna be nothing special there for you. Okay. And this goes back to not looting. Know when to loot, know when to take trophies, and do not take trophies from friendlies, especially if you're spawning the same area because they have the same access. Now, maybe like there's no more B mats and they have B mats. I mean, I guess in that case, but look, here's just here's where it gets twisted, okay? Is like, well, okay, this is before I knew I could reconnect voice, right? So I just like I drove my vehicle back to the rear. I got in a safe place. I hopped out, and like the one cool thing about this game that you need to take into consideration is if you have to leave it for whatever reason, if you leave the game and then you hop right back on, there's okay. There's two ways to make this happen. Sometimes instead of going to the home island, you just like repopulate your like body. It's cool. Like, you just like hop in there instead of like having to go to the home island, look at the map, decide where to go. You just become you again, which is great. But if you even if you are on the map, it's a good idea to try to access that area that you were at or like the nearest bunker base. I don't know what the proximity is. I wouldn't even be able to give you an approximate proximity of like what's in the bubble, what's out of the bubble. But if you get to a bunker base close enough to where your like body is, then you can repopulate it too. So there's two ways to repopulate your body. And I mean, I don't choose. I don't know what the delineation here is. I don't know why it happens sometimes and it doesn't. Uh, but the first option is just rebooting up the game really quickly, and then you get to like re-inhabit your body. The second option is choosing the closest spawn point to your body so you can repopulate your body. And while this happens, you'll be shot and killed. Someone's gonna take your shit, and it's the players that don't kill collies that do this, okay? Because I have no urge to do this. I kill enough people in this game, and all the kills are satisfying enough for me to never ever contemplate shooting a friendly or punching them or whatever. So if you see someone punching and killing one of your friends, they're probably pretty young and they probably don't get that many kills. Stay away from them. They're not good. It there's one instance. There's one specific instance which will always I will always fucking I'll always agree with you if you DK, and that's if someone's blocking a doorway, okay? If someone's blocking a doorway, just shoot them. Shoot the shit out of them until they die, and then shoot their corpse and then get past them because there's no reason. Now, also, though, if you can use a door, you can use a door. Okay, so the solution isn't violence, but like for example, I've been shelled before, and the collie gunners are great because they know to hit the road, they know to hit the open space. Okay, so I've been shelled, blasted to smithereens, and there's no way to get out. But there's this idiot building shit, and like here's the thing, man, is like I talked about this in my my second Foxhole video. You don't need that much stuff. You not there's already stuff out there. There's already plenty of people that have already made too much stuff that you can go take. And if he's just doing that, just kill him and shoot him because like what was he going to do besides be a delivery driver to the enemy? So in short, we're gonna cap this off. The first thing that you really want to do is build bases. Okay, just build bases here and there. Do not make empty bases. Don't make bases that will never be populated. Don't build a base if you can't populate it because the collies will hide there. It will become like because it's so close to the road, it will become their favorite little hidey hole. The next thing is train them. Train them, train them, train them. Keep training them. Learn from them. Train them. And I guess the last thing is just don't be offended. Like if you're offended by something that someone says, just mute them and report them. It doesn't need to become an issue. Like I am starting a full-fledged conspiracy to call these two people alts. And it was working last night until I got banned. So as soon as I go back online and I see them, I'm going to shoot them each once with a pistol because it won't kill them, but it'll damage them. And then I'm just going to keep calling. Because look, dude, I hate it, dude. There's no reason to team kill unless somebody's blocking something. But even then, if you're just some dumbass caught in the death loop and there's someone actually doing a job, just go. Please, just join the other team, please, please.